Have you ever been in the middle of a fight with someone you love, and you both know it's not really about what you're arguing about? You're talking about dishes, but really feeling unseen. You're talking about being late, but really not feeling like a priority. That gap between what we say and what we mean, what we feel and what we express, is where relationships fall apart. The bridge across that gap has a name: emotional intelligence. Today we'll explore what emotional intelligence is, why it's crucial in relationships, and how to build it. Many think emotional intelligence is just being nice, sensitive, or good at talking about feelings. But that's not quite it. The concept was introduced by psychologists Peter Salovey and John Mayer in 1990. Then popularized by Daniel Goleman. Goleman argued that EQ might matter more than IQ for success in life and relationships. He broke it down into 5 components. Self-awareness, knowing what you feel when you feel it in the moment. Self-regulation, managing your emotions rather than being managed by them, not letting them run unchecked. Motivation, being driven by internal values, not fear or external rewards. Empathy, genuinely stepping into another person's emotional experience. Social skills, communicating, navigating conflict, and building trust effectively. None of these are fixed traits you're born with. Every single one is a skill that can be learned and improved. Let me paint you a picture of 2 couples, Sarah and James. James grew up where emotions weren't discussed. They're where they were expressed loudly. When they fight, James shuts down. Sarah escalates. He reads her escalation as an attack. She reads his silence as indifference. Neither is wrong about what they feel, but neither understands what the other is actually communicating. Maya and David also fight with different emotional styles, but when heated, David says, "I'm feeling overwhelmed. Can we take 20 minutes?" Maya recognizes this as self-regulation. They don't have fewer problems, they have better tools. The difference isn't love. They both love each other. The difference is emotional literacy. Research backs this up. Psychologist John Gottman can predict divorce with over 90% accuracy, not because of dramatic betrayals, but small repeated patterns of emotional disconnection. He identified the 4 horsemen: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Every one is an emotional intelligence failure, and every one can be unlearned. Here's something uncomfortable. Your behavior in closest relationships was largely programmed before you were 10. Attachment theory says early caregiver relationships create an emotional blueprint, shaping how we answer. Am I worthy of love? Can I trust others? Is it safe to be vulnerable? Secure attachment. You felt consistently loved and seen. As an adult, you're comfortable with intimacy and independence. Conflict doesn't feel catastrophic. Anxious attachment. Inconsistent caregiving. You crave closeness but fear abandonment, reading neutral situations as threats. Avoidant attachment. Expressing needs led to rejection. Intimacy feels threatening. You pull away, convincing yourself you don't need people. Anxious and avoidant people are magnetically attracted. The anxious pursues, the avoidant withdraws. This triggers more withdrawal and pursuit. Both end up exhausted, wondering why love feels so hard. But your attachment style is not your destiny. Awareness alone begins to change it. When you recognize your patterns and know their origin, you've taken the most powerful step toward changing it. A trigger is any moment where your emotional reaction is significantly larger than the situation calls for. Your partner forgets to text, and you feel like you're disappearing. Their voice raises slightly, and every nerve fires. These reactions are real, but not always about the present. Triggers connect to old wounds. When something in the present resembles a painful past, your nervous system responds as if the past is happening now. This is an amygdala hijack. Your emotional brain floods your system with stress hormones. You're no longer fully present, partly reliving something from years ago. Understanding this changes everything about conflict. You create a gap between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl wrote about that gap. Emotional intelligence is the practice of finding and using this space. Empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy looks at someone's pain from a safe distance. Empathy climbs into the hole with them, saying, "I see you. You are not alone." Brené Brown describes empathy as a vulnerable choice. Connecting with someone's pain means touching your own. In relationships, empathy isn't just a nice quality. It is the mechanism of connection itself. When your partner is upset, and your first instinct is to fix or minimize. You're bypassing empathy. What they need first, before any solution, is to feel that their experience landed somewhere, that it was received. This is why one of the most powerful phrases is simply, "That makes sense." Most of us weren't taught to communicate emotionally, explode or implode. Neither works, both erode trust. Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication offers a different model. Observation. State what happened without judgment. Not "you always ignore me, but last night you were on your phone feeling." Name your actual emotion. Not "I feel like you don't care, but I felt lonely." Dismissed. Need. Identify what's underneath the feeling. "I need to feel like I matter to you." Request. Make a specific, actionable ask. Could we have one dinner a week with no phones? This structure removes accusation, inviting connection rather than triggering defensiveness. It requires inner work, knowing what you feel and need before you speak. That's emotional intelligence in action. Conflict is not a sign something is wrong. It's inevitable. Absence of conflict is often suppression or disconnection. Gottman found healthy couples make repair attempts. Small gestures mid-conflict that say, "This fight matters less than you do." A touch. "I love you," or even a ridiculous face to break tension. The signal underneath matters most. "I am still here. I am still on your side. We are not enemies." Couples who send and receive these signals come through conflict, not just intact, but closer. Your window of tolerance is the zone where you're regulated enough to think clearly, feel fully, and communicate effectively. Above the window, hyperarousal, anxiety, rage, panic. Below, hyperarousal, numbness, withdrawal, stonewalling. In both states, communication is nearly impossible. Your nervous system is in survival mode. The most emotionally intelligent thing is sometimes to stop the argument. Pause it with a commitment to return. That's not avoidance. It's taking responsibility for the quality of your communication. Emotional intelligence isn't about always being calm. It's emotional suppression in a spiritual costume. You are allowed to be angry, hurt, scared, jealous, devastated. The goal isn't to eliminate these experiences. It's to know you're having them, understand what they're telling you, and choose how you express and act on them. Emotions are information, not explosions. Anger points to a violated boundary or unmet need. Fear points towards something you value deeply. Sadness points toward love. When you read emotions as signals, you stop being at war with your inner life. And when you're no longer at war with yourself, you have so much more to give the people you love. Emotional labor is managing feelings, yours and others. Noticing when someone is upset, initiating hard conversations. In many relationships, this work is deeply unequal. One partner carries most of it, feeling exhausted and invisible. The other often doesn't even see it, a symptom of lower emotional attunement. Redistributing emotional labor is a concrete act of emotional intelligence. It requires the less attuned partner to expand awareness, to ask, "How are we doing?" without being prompted. When both feel responsible, the dynamic shifts. It becomes a shared project, not one person's burden. Self-compassion is the foundation of everything we've discussed, often left out of conversations about emotional intelligence. The pattern that undermines growth. People recognize patterns, feel ashamed, but shame creates hiding, not change. Kristen Neff's research shows self-compassionate people are more motivated to change, not less. If emotions were dismissed or weaponized in your childhood, it's not your fault you struggle with EI. Recognizing that isn't an excuse. It's the starting point for changing. Here's what to actually do with all of this. Daily emotional check-in. Pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Be specific. Proud, anxious, lonely, grateful, irritated, tender. Practice the pause. Before responding in any emotionally charged moment, take one breath. Insert a gap between feeling and reaction. That gap grows over time. Build love maps. Ask your partner questions you don't already know the answers to. What are they worried about? Excited about? What's been weighing on them? Intimacy is built in the asking. Lead with feeling and need. Before speaking in conflict, ask yourself, what am I actually feeling? What do I need that I'm not getting? Lead with that, not with accusation. Make repair attempts. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Reach out sooner than feels comfortable. Say, I don't like where we left things. Can we try again? Be patient with yourself and your partner. Emotional intelligence is a lifelong practice, not a destination. The couples who last aren't the ones who never get it wrong. They're the ones who keep choosing to get better at getting it right. You're not too damaged to have a deeply connected relationship. You're not too avoidant, too anxious, too closed off, too reactive. You are a person shaped by experiences you didn't choose, who now has the capacity to consciously choose something different. Emotional intelligence is not a personality trait reserved for naturally gifted people. It's a practice, a set of tools. Decision you make again and again, in small moments, to show up with more awareness, honesty, and courage. To be known and to know another person. The relationship you want is built in these moments, not in grand gestures, not in the absence of pain, but in the willingness to feel, to understand, and to keep reaching toward each other. That's emotional intelligence. And that's everything.